What's up, amigos? My name is Anthony. I'm one of the hosts of the show, always to my side.
What's up, amigos? It's your girl, Cindy.
And I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Welcome back. If you are new to the show, thank you guys for tuning in. If you are back, you guys have already hit that subscribe button. So if you haven't, I hope you guys are smashing it and hit that like button in there and that bell to get notifications every time we drop a new podcast like this one. One of the best ways that you guys can support us and our podcast is go check out our sponsors. We're going to leave their links down in the description below. But specifically, we're brought to you by the Farm, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we're also brought to you by Submission Nutrition.
Legendary Car Care and the Barber Shop.
And just like we said before, we are still looking for them. We still need your guys' help for that segment that we are starting. So we're still looking for suggestions for single moms and single dads with kids. So we want to do something special for them. We are still really, really excited about that one.
Yes.
I cannot wait, but we do need your guys' help. So keep sending the suggestions either down in the comments if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you are listening to this, go find us on Instagram and make some suggestions on our recent post, whatever our last post was, and we'll kind of reach out to you from there. We're coming at you guys with another juicy episode. I think we're pretty good at this one. So this is going to be 7 tips that you guys can use
Where you can get hired anywhere.
So let's go out there. Let's land that job. But you guys are going to need these 7 tips. So starting off with tip number 1, you need to know what it is exactly you want to do.
Right. So with that, it's narrowing down what is it that you want to do every single day.
Or
What are some of the expectations that you want out of that job
Exactly.
or out of that thing you want to do?
Yeah, definitely set the expectation for yourself before you even get anywhere. For example, do I want to clean bathrooms?
No.
Do I want to work outside when it's freezing cold?
No. Just kidding.
Do I want to sit down all day?
Yeah, so it's really just narrowing down exactly what you will be willing to do or what you're okay with doing.
Yeah, more or less you should be narrowing down the things that you do not want to do.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily want to go into a position or into a job and then you end up hating your life because you just started and now you're just miserable. So we don't want that. So you definitely want to take a step back and narrow down exactly what you are willing to do for that cash, for that moolah.
Yeah, so definitely set that expectation and let's figure that out. Step number 2 is going to be, this is a really good one. Step number 2 is going to be acknowledging your skills and knowing what it is exactly that you are good at. What do you bring to the table?
Yeah, so why you out of any other person that might be coming in here might have the exact same skills, right? So what is that one extra thing that you can do that nobody else can do? So I think it's taking a step back, acknowledging what you are capable of and how you can become valuable to the company is definitely going to be a huge key.
Yeah, what do you have experience in doing no matter what it is? What do you know how to do? Can you teach somebody how to do something?
Do you speak another language?
Yeah, small things. Are you good at typing? Are you good at writing? Are you good at listening? Figure out the things that you are good at, and that is going to help you land the job that you need. So that brings us to tip number 3, and that's your resume. Really important. So let's build a really strong resume.
Yeah. I mean, building a really strong resume is going to be a huge part of being able to get hired anywhere because you don't necessarily want to just have a resume that just looks overwhelming. You don't want to have a resume that looks unorganized. So definitely keeping your resume clean, simple, but yet very informative, right? So it's always like starting out with like your personal information on the very top as like the header. Right below it's going to be maybe like an objective as far as
Kind of just explaining what you're looking for in regards to whatever the job is.
and how your skills can be a part of that. And then after that, it's going to narrow down what type of skills you might have. So whether you are, even if it's like starting out with like something super, super simple, it's like you're good at multitasking, or you might be good at communicating, or you are bilingual.
Or you know how to use Word document. You can write emails.
Yeah, it's literally listing out pretty much just everything and anything that you are good at and that you know how to do.
And honestly, if you're struggling with these, hop on Google and just look up skills or examples, and there's a million of them. And I'm sure there's some of those that you can be like, I think I can say that. Boom. Add it to the resume. This is a time when you don't want to be shy. Create that list.
Yes. After that, it will probably now be your work experience. So, have you ever worked before? If not, maybe you can put down like, if not, you can maybe put down like what type of volunteer work you've done, or
Yeah. Did you TA while you're in school? Did you ever
shadow anybody, or
babysit anybody?
did you do any internships? Anything like that if you're really truly starting from scratch. But if you do have some experience elsewhere, it's just making sure that you put like your most recent work experience on there and being pretty descriptive as far as what you used to do on the daily basis that can especially go towards or can help you get the job that you're trying to apply towards. Because you don't want to put something that doesn't really match some of the job responsibilities that you'll be having to do at your new position. So it's almost kind of doing your research on that and also aligning those skills together as well.
Do you think that a cover letter is important?
Um, I don't think it's that important. I feel like schools teach you that would be important, but I don't really think so.
I mean, I feel like unless it's like a really, really important job, like if it's a really big deal, like it's something you went to school, you went to college for to get this job, or, if it's something that's really important, then maybe it's different.
Or maybe if you don't necessarily have any work experience or just any experience in regards to that position,
Right.
then maybe a cover letter can be very helpful to narrow down some of the things that makes you be a great position or be a great fit for that position.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
aside of that, if it's not anything where you can have your work back you up, then that would be a way to go. But if you do have, the appropriate work experience that will help you out to get this position, then honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about a cover letter.
Heck yeah. Well, I guess that brings us to tip number 4. And that's the fun part. That's applying to jobs. So, how do you apply to jobs?
So once you narrow down your application and you kind of match it towards, whatever position you're going to be applying towards, of course, the next step is applying towards the position or applying towards that job. And there's actually a couple of different ways that you can go about that. So one of them is going to be one of the most probably famous ways to now do it nowadays, which is Indeed,
You're right.
applying online.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, the last, I could say, handful of jobs that I've had, which that makes it sound like I've had a million jobs, but I haven't had a million jobs. But honestly, the last few jobs that I've gotten have been through there. So that's a really good suggestion. I agree.
Yeah, so looking up on Indeed and then kind of backtracking to our step number 1, which is realizing what you want to do. Then that becomes a lot easier, narrowing down and typing in there specifically what you are looking for.
I like that. And it makes it easy. It makes it super, super easy for you. So.
Yes, Indeed will probably have to be one of the best ways to look for work because it has a lot of different options. Even if it's like working from home or, anything in particular, it's like Google. You just look it up.
As far as options go, I think that's definitely probably going to be the best. But I think there's always that traditional route too, right?
Of course.
I mean, everywhere I go, no matter where I'm driving, I see the now hiring signs.
Yes. So don't be afraid to take it old school. Go in person.
Take that resume, walk in, be like, hey, I saw that sign. It looks like you guys are hiring. Is that position still open? Is there a manager in?
Another way that you can apply towards a job is you can literally drive around town, see what places are hiring, and you can even give them a simple phone call from your car. You could give them a call, ask if they're hiring. Even if it's like they might not have a hiring sign outside, but you can give them a call if that's something that you're really interested in and you're like, I want to work there. It doesn't hurt to give a call and ask if they're hiring.
I think that's one of the best opportunities, honestly. It doesn't ever hurt to ask. So just go ask.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have the experience, if it's something that you enjoy or something that you're, intrigued by, people love that. Just go ask. You never know. And that's another good segue. That actually brings us right into tip number 5. You've already applied to the job and now you need to do the follow-up.
Yes. So yes, so doing a follow-up is going to be very important because I feel like normally everybody stops after applying and then you're just hoping that one job is going to give you a call back, or maybe the 5 that you apply to are going to give you a call back. In most cases, yes, but in most cases, no. So you definitely have to do the initiative, even if it's like 2 or 3 days later, just like letting them know, hey, I applied a couple of days ago on Indeed, whatever platform you used, and let them know that you applied. Give them your first and last name and a good phone number to have them give you a call back, and maybe try to set something up for an interview.
Should you leave a voicemail if you get to a voicemail?
Honestly, no. I would probably keep calling until you actually talk to somebody, whether it's a non-manager and you leave a message with them to have a manager give you a call. That's all that matters. Just as long as you speak to somebody on the phone, that's when you don't stop.
I like that. And honestly, that's a good tip. If I know or if I think of any manager I've ever had, they're busy people. They're always doing stuff. So sometimes they forget. So I think that's honestly really important. If anything, I think I think it works in the opposite of annoying when it's like, no, you need to be on them. If you really want the job, make it apparent that you want the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most places are going to like that.
Yeah. I mean, I know from my experience, we would have people call in and ask if they're hiring or ask if we're hiring or whatever the case is.
Can we do a little example of a follow-up call?
Absolutely. So it's even as simple as just like you're calling. Oh my God.
This is, oh, no. How can I help you?
You just simply want to be like, hi, my name is Cindy. Is the manager around, or am I speaking to the manager? Always ask for the manager.
And if they're like, yeah, this is the manager, how can I help you?
But like, great. I actually applied a couple of days ago on, for an example, Indeed, and I just wanted to see if you had taken the time to look over my application.
Oh, that's amazing. Actually, I did not have the opportunity to look at your application. You said your name was Cindy. That's great. Let me write that down here. Oh, it looks like your application's right here. That is perfect. Let me actually take a look over while you're on the phone. This is amazing. I like what I see. Is there a chance that I can get you in for an interview?
And then this is where having a calendar right in front of you while you're talking to them is going to be super helpful, because then you can just respond back with your availability and have a fast response. Because every time I feel like you call and you're, going to be speaking to the manager or the person that's going to hire you, you want to be prepared.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like that simple first call, you still want to be prepared as far as, for what position you had applied for, when you applied, where you applied on.
Yeah, cover your bases, honestly. Just be ready for it. That's a good one. I like that too. Heck yeah. All right. Well, that leads us to our next step. So you already followed up on your application.
Mhm.
So now we are on step number 6, which is interview prep, right? Getting ready for the interview.
Yeah. So like you got off that phone call and they're like, hey, you know what? We like you. Let's go ahead and set up an interview. Perfect. You set up a date and time. But now you definitely have to prepare yourself for that date.
Just do some research. Like, you can get online, you can Google some of the most common interview questions. Just that way you're prepared. You don't want to go in there and get asked a question blind and you have no idea how to answer it, or maybe they ask you something and you've never been in that situation. You're just blank and you don't want to look blank in the interview. You want to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So go home, practice, find somebody, get a friend or a family member, a roommate, somebody, and just have them drill some of these questions that you can find really easy online.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be things like,
Yeah, honestly, some of the things that they might ask you, it's always going to be, I feel like if anything, there's probably going to be like 2 questions that doesn't matter wherever you go, they're always going to ask you this, which one of them is going to be, why you? Like, why are you interested in our company, right? So I feel like with that, just to kind of touch base, is you want to have a really good answer with that because you want to sound educated and you want to know, a little bit about the company.
Yeah.
So with that, it is with doing a little research on the company before you go in and actually sit down and have an interview.
yeah, look at whatever their objective is. If you can just find their objective or the company's goal, read that, and then try to somehow work that into why you think you want to work for that company.
Yeah, maybe like looking up when they opened or how long they've been open for, what type of, business they've been doing this entire time.
Their vision, their goals, their
Yeah.
objective, what kind of.
You want to be on the same wavelength as far as, what they see with the company.
Exactly.
So you definitely want to match them on that. A second part of that would be
Just being confident. I think you got to be confident.
Yeah. Being confident is going to be a huge part of it because if you go into the interview and you are just not confident within yourself, you sometimes just hear it in your voice, or you might, just see the way that you are with like your body language, or, whatever the case might be. So you definitely have to go in there prepared, knowing that this is one of the things I actually like to do is you want to go in there with the I am hired mentality,
I like that.
which is also part of being confident. So as long as you have those 2 things down, and again, to help you get to that point, it's just doing your research with the company, having your own research as far as like what skills that you have that you can give to them, as far as like why you out of everybody else, right?
And then especially if you went home and you practiced those questions already, you're going in there and you already know that they're going to ask you some of those questions that you practiced. So you're going to hit them with some of the best answers ever and you're going to rock it. So go in there with some confidence, and it's just a job and they're just people. So there's nothing to be afraid of. Go in there and land it, which brings us to the last part.
The day of the interview.
The day of the interview. So this is tip number 6. Oh, sorry. This is tip number 7 on how to land the interview.
Yes. So in most cases, the first thing you do when you see somebody is going to be appearance.
Yep.
So you definitely want to go in looking pretty sharp, depending upon what type of work style it is going to be as well. You definitely want to match what the whole overall,
The vibe of the workplace.
yes, the vibe of the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely did not follow that one of my interviews that I did. And I specifically remember what job it was for. I don't want to say, but I wore, and I'm not even kidding. I can't make this up. I wore Vans.
Oh, I remember
They
this.
were blue Vans. I wore red pants. Not even kidding. And a blue button-up t-shirt. I don't know what I was thinking. But you know what? I landed the job. I landed the job.
But a part of that too was because of the vibe of the company.
Yeah, it was a very collegey kind of job. So I don't know how
Yeah,
it
so
worked out, but I should have dressed different.
yeah, I mean, either way, you just got to scope out the area. You got to just kind of know what type of position you're trying to apply for and fill the role.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to fill the role with what they're looking for.
But when in doubt, dress to impress.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. And then the second thing will have to be, you know, you walk in the door, you're in for your interview, you look pretty sharp. But then I feel like the second thing that they're always going to look for is the way you come off. It's like the
Ooh.
way, like how your personality is from the beginning.
Well, it's all still part of your first impressions, right?
Exactly. So, you know, if you go into, you know, wherever the place of, you know, the company's at, you go in and, you know, you come off a little bit timid or shy. That's the first thing that they're going to take. It's like, oh, well, they're just like shy people. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, or, you know, whatever the case is. Like sometimes you just want to own it and just like make yourself present and make yourself known that you're there.
Mm-hmm. You almost want to appear like you're comfortable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you
Like
already
natural.
work there.
Yeah. Just be really natural.
Because in the end of the day, if you do get hired and if you're acting one certain way when you go in for your interview and then you do get hired and you act completely different, that might not really last too long, because then now it's, you know, nobody's really being true to themselves.
I actually, so I have an experience with I had a conversation with a boss that I had, and I was asking him about how I did in an interview, and he actually told me that he didn't want to hire me. And I was like, what? I was like, why? And he was like, dude, I thought you were lying to me. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, because you had come from selling cars, and I thought that you came into this interview and were just telling me all the things that I wanted to hear.
Oh, gosh.
So I didn't think that you were telling me the truth. I thought it was all fake. I didn't want to hire you. I was like, well, I don't know how to respond to that.
But
He was
see,
like,
I feel like a part of that too does have to depend upon what you say in your interview, because, you know, you do want to give them what they want to hear, right? So like I feel like that's actually some of the other things. It's saying some of the key words that will help you get hired.
yes, give me an example.
Definitely saying career versus a job. It's
Yep.
always going to be the number one thing
I love that.
to look over, because
It's powerful, because
Yeah.
when they're asking you like, well, what are you looking for when you're looking for a job? You're like, well, I'm not really looking for a job. I'm looking for a career where I can really settle down, plant my feet, and grow within this company.
Right.
That's really what I'm looking for. Like, and they love it. They'll eat it up, because in their mind, that means that you're not just here for the job. That means you're here for
the
some
long
sort
run.
of stability. You want to be here for a long time, because that's one of the most expensive things in regards to owning or running a business. It's hiring employees and keeping them there, because it is really expensive, and it takes a lot of time to train somebody to do something. That's something that I feel like companies really stress on, is that if they can keep you there for a long time, it saves them dough. So using keywords like career, for example, that was great. Good job. Career. I think those are.
You know,
those
I'm
are,
not an expert or anything.
Oh,
but-
I know. Yeah, that's great. Using keywords, I feel like, goes a long way when it comes to trying to make those impressions when you're trying to land that interview. I like that a lot. So boom.
So keywords will definitely help you get hired anywhere. But not only that, let's say they're really interested in you because you did these 7 steps from our podcast that helped you get this job. Now they're interested in you, right? So now they want to offer you this job. But sometimes pay might not be discussed, or pay might seem like a scary thing because you feel like you can't negotiate or can't really have a say as far as how much you might be getting paid. But this is where, if you see that they want you, you should really take opportunity. You should really take advantage of that opportunity and really analyze the situation. And if they don't bring up your pay, you bring it up. I feel like over the years, I've always been really scared about just bringing up pay, like at the end of your interview, right? Because it's like, oh, you shouldn't even talk about pay because it doesn't matter about money. I just like, I'm more interested in, the job and like, the skills and the career. And sometimes it's very like profound on if you talk about money. But over the years, I've learned that that's something that is very normal to actually talk about. But if you don't talk about it, they will never bring it up. So I think realizing that and taking ownership of that and just straight up asking like, okay, and if they ask you like, do you have any questions for me? Right?
That's a perfect opportunity.
That's a perfect opportunity. And you might want to save that for last. So you probably want to like, kind of play it easy first and be like, okay, well, maybe ask them like some general questions that you might have genuinely about the company. And then maybe at the very end, just hit them with, okay, and what does it pay? And then usually they tell you, sometimes there can be sometimes where they might not know and they don't want to tell you or something like that. And if it's those cases, then fine, kind of let it slide, but still know how much you're getting paid before you accept the position. But now, like, let's say, they let you know what the pay is and stuff like that. Kind of, don't accept it right away. Just kind of like take it in, be like, make them question it.
Yeah, kind of have a little bit of a poker face, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, because if anything, they're still trying to sell you on the job.
Right. And the end of the day, they're the ones that need you.
Yeah.
Even though it feels like it might be the complete opposite because you're the one out there trying to look for a job.
Yeah, but there's a million jobs out there.
There are.
You can do anything. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so definitely don't be afraid to talk about your pay.
I like that.
And if you feel like you have the knowledge, the experience, the value to bring into a company, don't be afraid to ask for more money. I think that can be.
That was perfect. Well, let's go over those again really, really quick. All our 7 tips that you can use to land that job. Tip number 1, knowing exactly what it is that you want to do or exactly what it is that you are not willing to do. So let's narrow down those options. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 was acknowledging your skills. Mm-hmm. What are you good at? Write them down. Let's get really comfortable with these things. This is going to help you later on, right? Tip number 3 is having a strong resume. This is actually going to help you for years. Go back to it, reference it, change it, update it. Get really good at building your resume. Tip number 4 is applying. Where can you apply? We've gotten a ton of jobs off of Indeed, for example. Go check it out. There's a couple different things that you can use. Use the old school route, door to door. There's signs up everywhere right now. Hiring now.
Or even just straight up calling a business that you are really interested in and asking if they're hiring.
Exactly. That leads us to tip number 5, which is following up on your application. This is really important. Mm-hmm. If you need to, bug the heck out of them until you can set up an interview.
At least until you can reach anybody to give you an update on your application.
That means that you are scheduling an interview, which brings us to tip number 6, which is getting ready. That's interview prep. Go home, practice, find some of those examples of the questions, get really good at answering them. Let's get really comfy here. You guys need to go in there with confidence. Mm-hmm. Which brings us to tip number 7, and that is landing the interview. If you did your practice, that means you're already in there, you're comfortable, you already know what to say. You've previewed a couple keywords, for example.
Using careers instead of jobs.
Perfect. Use some keywords, go in there with confidence. You practiced.
And especially going in there with I am hired mentality.
Yeah. Going in there like you've already landed the job. Confidence is key. All 7 tips, use these, write them down, get really good at them, and you guys are going to go out there and land that job that you need, or more likely the job that you want. So,
and also I do want to mention this, I don't want to forget, but in the end of the day, definitely just be yourself, because these are people that you're going to be working with every single day.
Yep.
So definitely just be yourself still in the end of the day. But these are just some of the tweaks that you can do to sharpen yourself up for an interview so that you can land any interview that you get and get hired anywhere you would want to.
So this is it, amigos. 7 tips to get hired anywhere. Mm-hmm. Thanks for tuning in, amigos. Like always, I hope you guys are smashing that subscribe button, that like button, and that bell over there to get notifications every time we drop a new podcast like this one. And share it. Share it to somebody who you think is going to get some sort of value out of this. While you're at it, go check out our sponsors. They're going to be down there in the description below. And check out our website. Heck yeah. And don't forget, suggestions. We are basically ready for that segment, so keep sending in those suggestions for single moms and single dads with kids. We got something special for you guys.
And good luck to you if you're getting ready to do that interview.
Heck yeah. So,
bye, amigos.
Peace out, amigos.
Until next time.